My name is Shelley Hardiman. I work with the TRIO Student Support Service Program. We're having our second annual TRIO Alumni Local Professional Career Day 2. We have some illustrious panelists with us today. I would like to start off, tell a little about each, and then we will start our panel discussion. Nakisha Anderson was a TRIO alumni. She is the college registrar at Illinois Central College. Nakisha, graduate of Illinois Central College, and received a Bachelor of Science from Western Illinois in Sociology and a Master of Science in College Student Personnel Services from Western Illinois University. She now has the opportunity and privilege to assist new first-generation college students in their education endeavors. In 2010, she was honored as one of Peoria's 40 Leaders Under 40.
Congratulations.
The next person is Christy O'Neill. She's also a graduate of Illinois Central College. Christy graduated from Illinois Central College and received her Bachelor of Arts degree from Robert Morris University. She is a problem process manager at Caterpillar Incorporated. Last but not least, Jessica Bastin is a digital service librarian at Illinois Central College. Jessica earned her undergraduate degree in political science from Western Illinois University. She has a master's in political and government from Illinois State University and a master's in library and informational science from the University of Illinois. Okay, panelists, we're gonna start with our questions. Nakisha Anderson, first question, could you answer?
Sure. So again, I'm Nakisha Anderson. In college, my major was sociology when I did my bachelor's degree. When I did my master's degree, I did college student personnel services. It's a master's degree that is very similar to higher education administration. You find us in dean's positions, vice president positions, the registrar's position, support staff usually in colleges and universities.
Okay, Christy.
Hi, I'm Christy O'Neill, and I work at Caterpillar. So the first question is to discuss your college and the institution where you graduated from. So I went to ICC first, and I got my associates here at ICC. I was going to school for elementary education. I worked at Head Start for about 6 to 7 years working with children, so I enjoyed it a lot. But as I was going to school to further my education, I just had a change of heart, and I decided to go IT world. So actually, I went back to school and got my bachelor's degree from Robert Morris University, and I got my degree in business administration. And now I work at Caterpillar.
Okay, Jessica.
Okay, well, hello, my name is Jessica. My major was political science, and I went to Western Illinois University straight out of high school. And I think the lesson there is that I studied what I loved, not necessarily with any idea of what kind of career I would have, which it was a little bit rocky at points in life, but eventually that path, studying what you love, really worked out well for me. And so I look back at, have good memories of that time, and I'm grateful for the knowledge. I think it served me well, even if it hasn't always gotten me a paycheck, right, or given me a paycheck, so.
Okay, the next question. If you attended a community college, that would be Nakisha, you would start off.
Okay, so yes, I did attend a community college. I attended this wonderful community college, Illinois Central College. And did you want me to talk about?
Your experience here.
Okay, my experience here, I was a first generation college student, so I am alumni of the TRIO program here at ICC. And I thank God for the TRIO program at ICC because I had no one to show me even how to enroll in classes when I first got here, and the TRIO program was great. They walked me through all that. They walked me through the financial aid, and ironically enough, in my position, I have an opportunity to do that for other students now. But yeah, my experience here at ICC was wonderful. It truly prepared me to go on and get my bachelor's degree. Coming out of, I'm alumni of Manual High School, which my experience there was great as well. But I did have some academic deficits when I came here. ICC allowed me to do, I had to take some transitional courses to build skills in writing specifically. so that I could take college level courses. But ICC prepared me for that. I mean, I'm a great writer now. I've written for magazines now. I completed a master's program. So my experience here was great and really life-changing.
Okay. Christy?
So as far as attending a community college, I did state that I attended community college here. I took a break right out of high school. I was an alumni from Peoria, Notre Dame. So after I graduated from Notre Dame, I took a year off to decide on what I wanted to do, and college was the first thing for me. So going to ICC, it was an easy transition. I had wonderful teachers. I was also a mother of one, so I took night classes while I attended work in the morning. So it took me about 4 years to get through ICC. The teachers were wonderful. The classes were awesome, and it geared towards actually if you do want to be able to be that young going to school and having a child and also having a college life. It gave me that college life, that the ability to converse with the same age kids as me. I'm older now. So it gave me the ability and the lifestyle to converse, to have that study groups, and it was a great atmosphere, and it was.
Okay. The next question, Nikki. What do you think, coming from ICC, the transition of going into junior and senior level classes?
Because ICC hires excellent faculty and staff that challenge you in the classroom, I can honestly say that I was extremely prepared. I did well here at ICC, but when I transferred to the four-year institution, I even did better because I was prepared to go. So I graduated with honors from Western.
And I agree with Nikki. It prepared me for furthering my education. I didn't graduate with honors, but I was on the dean's list. Because ICC has smaller classes, with going to a private university, I was able to go to another smaller classes and have that one-on-one attention. So the transition to junior and senior level was not hard at all.
Okay. The next question is for all the panelists. List your current employer, job title, and discuss your job duties and experience in the workforce. Nikki?
You want me to start?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so currently I'm the college registrar here at Illinois Central College. I manage enrollment services, which is a huge area. I know it sounds like something small, but it is absolutely not. So when you think of enrollment services, you probably think about actually enrolling in classes. And yes, I manage that area. We do that in our office. But we also take tuition payments in my office. We deal with the processing of an application. We deal with taking in student records, ACT scores, high school transcripts, college transcripts. We do transcript evaluation. So if a student has come from another four-year school or another two-year community college, we evaluate those transcripts and show students how the coursework they have at other places will apply towards a degree here at ICC. When a student wants to request a college transcript, so they've taken courses here at the college, and they want that transcript sent to a four-year school or just out to a potential employer, we send those out as well. We deal with graduation. We do the conferring of degrees, so we make sure students have met all the criteria they need and all the requirements that they need in order to award their degree when they're done or their certificate when they're done. And that's just off the top of my head, the major areas that we deal with. But again, in enrollment services, we do a lot.
Okay. Christy?
Current employer. So my current employer is Caterpillar, Inc., and my job title there is the problem process owner. So in order to discuss about my job duties, you have to understand what my title is first. So my title is I work with corrective actions and root cause solutions for any. Caterpillar is a mining construction business, if you don't know, which I'm sure everybody does. So when we have issues on production lines, or if we have production issues in the field, we need to identify why those products are not working correctly. So I do the root cause corrective actions on it. I identify what the issue is with a team. we identify what the issues are, and then we do corrective actions on how to solve them, how to implement permanent corrective actions, so that way that our end customer is satisfied and do not have any reoccurrence or any issues within their own products. So we want to make sure that our products are flawless, and if they're not flawless, then I'm the lady that comes in and makes sure that they are. So my end customer is not Caterpillar, it's actually our customer who's using our products.
Okay, Jessica.
I don't want to go after that. My name is, so my employer is Illinois Central College, and I'm the digital services librarian here at the college. Basically what that means is I'm a librarian. That's what I'm degreed in. So I do all of the traditional functions that you would think of in a library, like purchase books. I work the reference desk, which is the desk when you walk in. I help students with questions. I provide research and information, literacy instruction, all of that. But the special part, or what's special to my position, what I do here that others do not, is manage all of the digital services that the library has. So what that means is I buy and maintain our library's databases. So Illinois Central College, we have 105 subscription databases, things like LexisNexis, all the ProQuest products, EBSCO. So it's my job to be the experts. I'm familiar with the different vendors, what's included, what kind of articles, what kind of content is included in each of those databases, and I have to make decisions about what packages I feel like are going to support the curriculum, what's being taught in class. Some databases have really awful interfaces and make searching really difficult. So I have to balance like usability versus content, and then look at what our classroom needs are. So I manage a budget. I see to that line item within the library. Other than the databases, that takes up a huge part of my job. So I talk to vendors, I schedule demos, I do training for our librarians. The other kind of online services that are my responsibility include the library website, which I say that with some hesitation because it's under development. So always looking for ways to improve our existing services. I also manage the library's chat reference. So one of the best things about my job is it allows me to do a little bit of everything. I can be a regular librarian. I love books. I can kind of fulfill that request. I'm the subject liaison for the social sciences and the business, hospitality, and information systems department. So I do a lot of book stuff with them. I get to teach in the classroom, but then I also can shut my door and just do, evaluate a database or do work on our website. So it fits all of my boxes, all my needs. So I like to speak in front of groups, but I couldn't do that always, and I need my downtime too. So that's my job.
Okay. Next, talk about the culture of the workplace.
Okay. In enrollment services here at ICC, it's very fast-paced, ever-changing. Processes change all the time. So you just have to be able to be real flexible. You have to be patient, and you're going to learn something every day.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. And same way with me. I work for a global company. So working with a global company, my hours are flexible. I support 671 applications, and all those applications are production applications. So those production applications are over in Singapore, in Poland. So I just have to be flexible with the times. And then I also have to be sensible and listening very closely. All the accents are very hard, but you just have to be cognizant of who you're dealing with, of knowing that there is language barriers, that there could be cultural differences. So you just have to be sensitive to those areas, and we're all people, Again, who I service is our end customer, so I just want to make sure that they're happy. At the end of the day, we just want to all be happy. If you get a hair product and you go get your hair dye and you walk out and your hair is green, then something didn't work. So we want to make sure that our customer at Caterpillar is happy, because then they'll buy more product. So you just got to be sensitive of everybody that you work with.
And I work at Illinois Central College, so I would echo a lot of what Nikki said. I'm sure our departments are different, very different, but I feel the same way. It's fast-paced. You have to be flexible. You have to be ready to just adapt your schedule at a moment's notice. And I will say I've worked at the Bradley University Library, and I worked for a library system several years ago, and especially at the Bradley Library, which I realize I'm being recorded, but it was a wonderful place to work, but it was kind of sleepier, okay? So it seemed more like what you would think of as a library. Here, that's not the case. We work really hard, and it seems like there are 5 of us librarians in the library, and I feel like every day we're running around adapting to whatever the day's, issue is or crisis is. So, but that's, again, something that I love about my work. And I do learn something new every day, which is it's a nice thing, and it's a gift. So.
Okay, the next question is, when you were in college, what mistakes do you feel you made, if any, and what advice would you give to students?
Well, the mistakes I made in college was not being prepared for accounting. I hated accounting. So my advice to you is any type of accounting or statistics classes, I had issues with those. So I felt like my mistakes were I was not prepared well enough. So if I had to do it again, I would dedicate more time to studying, dedicate more time to tutoring if I needed it, and just reach out to my study partners. So, but everything, and eventually I did do that because as you know, in college you have more accounting classes. So in the beginning I stumbled a little bit, but eventually it got better, hence the degree. So that's the only mistake I said I would have, or any advice that I would have to give to the students, as to study, to be prepared, and because it is also preparing yourself for world life experiences. Because when you go into your meetings or your presentations, you have to make sure that you're able to speak clearly, that you are presenting the information that is knowledgeable, that is geared towards your audience. So you just have to make sure that you're prepared at all times.
That's good. I think that I would have spent more time researching majors and truly understanding what all was available to me. My whole thing was I got here and I said, oh, I like people. Oh, I like watching people. I want to know why people do what they do. And I went straight into sociology, and that's where I stayed. And I think had I researched everything and, opened my mind to everything, maybe took some more career assessments, I may have ended up in a different place. I don't know. But I wish I had done that.
Yeah, me too. So I never envisioned myself as a librarian, and my mom is a librarian, and so actually when I was 18 years old, I said the opposite. So I'm not going to be a librarian. I'm going to do something important, right? So that was me at 18, and I was very focused on one goal. And I should say that I think I made a lot of mistakes in high school, and I was not prepared for college. And then I found myself 4 hours away from home, alone, not really sure what I wanted to do. Well, no, not really sure what I was doing, but knowing that, I wanted to study politics and government, and I had a very determined goal. I knew about an internship that I could get after I graduated, and so I worked really hard. Like all 4 years, I focused on that internship and with tunnel vision. And I actually got the internship, but when I had that experience, it was not what I wanted. It was a horrible experience for me. So I wish I would have maybe taken off the tunnel vision a little bit and really have done a better job exploring the opportunities that were out there for me, kind of getting my feet wet in a lot of different areas. I think that would have served me well, like later in my 20s, if I had had a more well-rounded kind of experience in undergrad. So I would say just take advantage of everything that a college life has to offer and get a lot of different experiences.
And it's never too late to change.
Right, absolutely.
When I was saying that in the beginning, my focus or my major was elementary education. I switched and was able to go business. So it's never too late. If you feel like if you're not going down the path that you want, or you don't, or you're finding that there's new opportunities because you're networking more and you are opening your or broadening your horizons, know that there's always a stopping point and you can switch.
Right, absolutely.
This is your life for the rest of your life.
That's right.
You will be working for a long time.
Right.
You want to make sure that you're happy. You want to get up and go every day to work and say, I'm value added, I'm happy, and I'm doing something better for myself and other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Next question. How many hours a week do you work? And also, is there any travel involved?
As a registrar, all my hours are mostly here on campus. I'm scheduled to work 40, but
How many
any
do
given week is more than that, and most weeks is more than that. Not a whole lot of travel involved. There are committees that I sit on that meet off campus. When I pull together with other registrars from around the state, I have to go to those meetings, but pretty much place bound here.
Well, again, I work for a company that's global. So it just depends on what your job title is. I've been at Caterpillar almost 10 years, and throughout the 10 years, I have had a job where I stayed put. I've had a job where I travel 50% of the time and 75% of the time. So I've been to places like Canada, within Canada, Toronto, Montreal, Quebec. I've been all over the United States with Caterpillar. I've been to Mexico. So Caterpillar is just what you make it. My children, now that I have children, my children were missing me a lot. And so I decided, after I did 3 years of that position, I decided to take more of a stable job where I'm in the office a lot more. So it just depends on it depends on what type of company you work for and if you would like to travel. Now, the hours that I put in, management positions are always between 40 to 50 hours a week. The good thing about, getting older, you can make your own, depending on your job, you can make your own schedule. So I make my own schedule. I make sure that I don't schedule any meetings before 8 o'clock in the morning. And I try to. Again, I have global partners, so sometimes we have offshore hours, so I might have to work at 8:30 at night to accommodate my other products and customers. But it's flexible. I'm able to leave like I am now to come sit on a panel for 2 hours. So it's a really flexible job. I leave also to go to school events. So I don't miss anything. And I'm happy I picked my career, and I'm happy that my job is as good and as well as I make it.
So I work 40 hours a week. There's not really too much travel because we are place bound. So it's the librarians. It's kind of like we have to manage the library, right? Somebody's got to be in there. That's a librarian or a grown up is what we say, as opposed to like a student worker or something, which has its advantages and its drawbacks because most of my working time is spent pretty independently or working directly with students. Although I have to work with my colleagues to maintain the facility. So for instance, you were saying you get to schedule your meetings at 8 a.m. Well, I joined a staff that really needed somebody to open. So my hours are 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., which means I'm leaving my house at 6:30 in the morning. That's rough, right? So that's not ideal. Which I love my staff. I understand the need. It just happens to be me that I get to open. The good thing about that is I walk out the door at 3:30, and I'm home with my son by 4. And so for me, I have a young son. I'm kind of trying to manage my home responsibilities with work responsibilities. It works out. But I don't know if next year they're going to need someone to stay until 5. Last week I worked a 1 to 10 shift because we needed someone here in the evenings. So in my line of work, our responsibility and our hours and our scheduling really revolves around maintaining the facility of the library and what those needs are. which is fine. When I was last week when I was here till 10, I realized how much I love my job because it was okay. If I'm not at home, at least I'm at this at the second place that I love. And then in terms of travel, librarians, we do have a professional obligation to like publish and attend conferences. So once in a while, maybe every other year, we get to go to somewhere kind of glamorous for a conference. In 2014, I went to Las Vegas, so that was kind of exciting. But
Okay. What is the typical dress code for your department or organization?
Our area is business casual.
Okay.
So again, it depends with Caterpillar. Some of the offices are business casual. I work in IT, so I dressed up for you guys today. Typically, when we're working in IT, our end customer is that customer that's at a site somewhere, who's using our product, who's building our product, so they don't see us. Working with IT, we can wear jeans every day. We can wear jeans every day, and we can. But you have to at least be presentable, so no gym shoes, things like that. I've worked at other facilities where it's business casual, and I've worked at AB where you that's the corporate office, you kind of dress in suits. So it just depends on and the area of your working.
Yeah.
Okay. What other type of positions have you held or considered, and what are related positions or fields?
I'll let you start, Jessica.
me. Before I got my library degree, I worked as a paraprofessional in the libraries, which basically means I'm a library clerk. I was managing the circulation desk. I was doing a lot of library functions. I was just making a fraction of the money, so just a little bit over minimum wage. So I would say that there are opportunities to work in libraries if you're not degreed or if you don't have a master's degree in library and information science, although the pay is not equitable, so I would really recommend, if you're interested in libraries, get your bachelor's degree in something that you love and then pursue that master's degree. The other kind of related fields are museum and archives and other types of memory institutions. So if you're interested in knowing more about those things, you can talk to me afterwards and I'd be happy to share information.
So the type of positions I've had, since I've worked at Caterpillar 10 years, some of the positions that I've had were, they're all related again to Caterpillar. It's kind of hard to describe. It's so hard to describe. So I was a releasing analyst. So a releasing analyst is where we have different products within Caterpillar. And so torque converters, we have engines, we have everything that you build a tractor or a transmission or a tractor with, so transmissions, torque converters, things like that. So I manage that area within the office, so collecting serial numbers, working with the engineers if they rolled out any new products. So if we rolled out a new microphone with a silver top, they rolled it out, I made sure that it was implemented and the first one out of the shop was done and done correctly. And so whereas that takes me to where I'm at now, and I'm still looking at whatever the engineer produced to make sure that it's corrected and it's beautiful, it's put into the shop, it's implemented, but I need to make sure that it's always continuously working properly. So now I have the end-to-end scenario where I started 10 years ago from them making the product to now that the product is implemented into the shop and that it's running successfully. So and those are the type of different jobs I've had. I've also had training positions where I go into the facilities like I talked about in Canada, where we were rolling out a new software, and the software, because I was the process manager of it, I had to explain to them how to use our software. So I've been in training, and then before I worked at Caterpillar, I was a teacher at Head Start. So I've done a lot of different things in my day. Yeah.
What is the best career path for someone to get hired eventually by your organization?
The best career path to get hired on at Caterpillar, I would say, would be to go to school, to advance your career, advance your education, to go to schools have different types of career fairs, so make sure you go to your career fair, pass in your resume. Have a specific area of your expertise. So if you're Caterpillar or any company likes that, your resume is great, but if you have any type of working experience, that also helps too. So if you're looking at your resume and you're wanting to get a job in IT, it helps if you have some background in IT. Companies and corporations go through a rigorous hiring process. So I just would say, try your hardest, make sure you stand out, make sure you network, and get yourself in front of someone.
Great advice.
Best career path. I think all different kinds of roads lead to ICC.
Yeah.
I don't think probably
do.
just a bachelor's degree or maybe even an associate's degree, depending on what you're doing, depending on where you want to go here at ICC. If you want to do management, director, coordinator, deans, like VP positions, you're probably going to want a PhD or EDD. Definitely a master's. But again, I don't really know how to answer that.
It's a
there are
big,
many
big question,
roads,
yes.
that lead.
Yeah.
But the degree is important.
The degree
degree
is
is
most
important.
important.
Absolutely.
Yep.
This will be our last question. What is the most rewarding aspect of your job?
I say students. Yeah. So students always surprise me. They're always teaching me new things. It's why I come to work in the morning for sure. So
The most rewarding aspect of my job is probably to know that something's got fixed, and I was part of the implementation to make sure it was fixed and it was fixed properly. To be able to put your name on something like that is definitely rewarding for me. It's my sense of accomplishment. After you have went through school and you've went through life, the accomplishments that you look for give you that sense of self, sense of worth, sense of happiness, and knowing that I can go into my job and I'm creating things, I'm fixing things, and I'm making the company better. It's most rewarding for me, and then also to know that the end customer is going to be happy at the overall end of it makes me happy.
I would have to say that the people who I work with, my staff, as a registrar, I'm a manager of enrollment services. So I've got part-time staff, I've got full-time staff, I've got student workers. I've got about 26 people I'm probably responsible for. And at the end of the day, if I know I've been able to give them what they need to do their jobs well, then I'm happy.
Awesome.
I would just like to thank the panelists for taking time out of your busy schedule. And I feel like the comments that you have, the students that will listen to this, I believe that will be some very good information.
All right.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Any questions?
questions?
Any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
How do you see, your whole process of being a college student? How does it tie into what you now do every day in your job?
Okay, do you mind if I
Go
start?
ahead.
So one of probably the most important things I learned in college was how to fail and how to fail. Not always gracefully, but how to fail and pick yourself up, right? So just know that school is hard and you can't always do it right. You can't always be perfect. That was a big life lesson for me. So I needed to struggle a little bit as an undergrad, and for me that was the most rewarding part of learning, and that's the biggest lesson I take today, because I feel like sometimes I'm confronted with things that I'm not sure I can do in my job, but I have enough confidence in myself to say, okay, Jessica, you can at least Google it, right? You can at least try to figure it out, and that perseverance I failed enough where I'm not afraid of it anymore, and that's given me enough courage to tackle some pretty big things I wasn't sure if I could do. So
I think being a student is probably your first professional job.
that's great.
Because you have to take it serious. And even though you're paying a bill, it's what's going to get you paid later on in life. So you absolutely need to take it serious. You need to show up. You need to be in the classroom. You need to apply yourself. If you don't understand something, you need to reach out to your instructors for their assistance, or go to the tutor to get what you need so that you can be successful. Again, it's the foundation for the rest of your life and for what you'll do professionally. So in my opinion, it's your first job.
I agree. I agree with both of the ladies. You have to strive. Once you fail, you have to start. You want to strive for that success. You want to strive for that goal, that happiness. And I agree with both of the ladies.
I have a question. When will you suggest to actively start looking for the job that you want during your college career? Would you say like senior year or junior year, or like right now before you get to those later years?
I'm probably not the best part. I don't know.
I would say internships your freshman year,
Yeah.
paid or not.
Right.
Use that summer to do something in the field so that you learn more about the field, you have some hands-on experience about the field. When you graduate, you'll actually have something to put on a resume that will help you become competitive.
That's exactly what I just said too. I mean, it's good to have a degree, but it's nicer. And think about everybody who's passing a piece of paper. You want to be able to look at that piece of paper and stand out. So if you have that resume, everybody is going to school right now. I mean, everybody is getting your bachelor's or your AA, your BA. Not a lot of people are working towards higher than that, But some of us, fortunately, have got, good jobs and able to either further the education or not, or stop where we need to. So I agree with her. Internships, if you know that by senior year, you should know what your area of major is, what you want to do with that degree. And if you know what you want to do, then you need to start reaching out to those like-minded people or those social groups and see, hey, I am graduating in May. Anything that's coming up? If not, then here's my resume. Start networking. Start passing your resume. Get it updated. Get it out there and let people know. Go to these career fairs that are happening all over Peoria, and just get your foot in the front door. And it also too, and I didn't say this, it's hard to get into Caterpillar, but it's easy to get into a contract company. So if you're not looking for something right now, you don't need insurance right now. Well, I don't know what your situation is, but you can get all of that through a contract company. It's a little bit more expensive, but at least you have your foot in the door. And once you have your foot in the door with Caterpillar, you can work your way up. I worked as a contract agency for a year while I was getting my bachelor's degree. And then I just showed them that, hey, I am the person that you should pick. I should be the one that you hire. And I worked for a year and got in a Caterpillar that way because I worked hard. And then I had my bachelor's degree, so I had that on-the-job experience, and then I had that degree to support it.
And I would just add that as you're a student, use your time as a student as an opportunity to just start at the bottom. Like, no, for libraries anyway, or even when I was still pursuing a career in political science, I did internships every summer in undergrad, and I was the lowest person in the office, right? It was just about being there.
Yeah.
And you learn so much from just observing the environment. Networking is so important no matter what field you're in. So just as you're a student, when you don't have some of the concerns, and maybe even if you do, it's your time to kind of just, start at the bottom and get your foot in.
Working the way up.
You said networking, and
Yeah.
I just want to echo that. That is so important. Start with your instructors, okay?
Yes.
Let's just practice with your instructors. Get to know them, and then by the time you graduate, you'll have them as a reference. But when you're in those summer internships, network. The people who are working there, your supervisor. Just start there and just start reaching out, talking to people.
Create a relationship. Go to lunch.
Yeah.
Buy them a coffee. It's easy to have that one-to-one relationship, and once you have that, then it builds. And then they can say, hey, you know, I know this person who's looking for something, he would be a great fit.
That's right.
That's how it starts.
And sometimes you may not even be able to identify, like, so I met my current boss in 2007 when I was fresh out of undergrad before I even had one master's degree. And I met her in passing. I did a small program at a library. You never know who's going to come back into your life and be influential. So network to everybody. I mean, you know, people even now as you're a student, I don't know if you realize this, but we notice you as students and
That's
we
right.
watch what's going on and we spot potential in students every day. So you always want to have that in mind. You want to network with us first, and then it kind of just builds from there. And you may not know, you know, oh, I need to network with the CEO of Caterpillar. No, not necessarily, but you know, kind of working those circles. So.
And along the lines of networking, every now and again, you brush somebody the wrong way.
Right.
You know, there are cultural differences, all kind of differences, right?
Absolutely.
If you know you've burned a bridge, go back and fix it.
Absolutely.
Because again, you never know who you're going to need. Okay?
And people are raised differently. We're all cultural differences. You know, some person might take it differently, you know, because you might say, I want milk, but over here they might say latte. You know, you never know. So you just have the cultural differences. You never know if you burn a bridge. You never know if you said the wrong thing, or if they could take it the wrong way. So just go back and say, hey, you know, I didn't really mean it like that. Or so just to feedback off of what Keisha was saying.
How are you guys sure about the career path you took? When it comes to decisions?
Money, girl.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, money.
Yes.
I told you I went to school for
Ditto
elementary
that.
education. I loved the children. I went to school because my kids, I was a young mom, so ICC helped me. I went to school being a young mom, I wanted to go to school for teaching, so that way I can work with my kids while they're in my classrooms. And then, you know, and plus teaching starts at home first. I wanted to make sure my kids were educated at home, and so I needed to educate myself. But once my kids got to the age of 5 and 6 where they didn't need that anymore, and cost was not great as far as, you know, what the income I was bringing in, I went back to school and I changed and got into IT, into business, and that's why my career changed. So that's why money. Go to school for money.
A lot of people never talk about that aspect of things, that sometimes you're like, this is my paycheck?
Yeah.
Really?
And you know, I mean, and the thing is, I loved working with children, and I thought I wasn't gonna love working in business, but it's the same thing. You know, the customers are my babies, are my students. I'm making sure that they get what they need. So it's just a different way of looking at things. You know, you open up your eyes, and you open up your wallet when you do that too.
But that's to say, so librarians were modestly paid, right? I'm sure I'm nowhere
I don't
near
know.
the
I don't know.
Caterpillar
Don't
level.
say that.
But so I think there's a trade-off. You have to figure that out for yourself. For me, the need to have a stable job and insurance and, you know, make my mortgage payment, all those kinds of things. Student loans.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, student loans. Really got me, okay, you know, you're going to become a librarian and you're going to be good at it and you're going to like it, so just do it, right? I had been circling, working in libraries, making pathetic, even worse money than I make now. So that need for just stability and to take care of yourself, and you know, at that time when I started my second master's, I was pregnant with my son. So I was pursuing this master's, about to have a baby with this, you know, this need for a job, basically. But that's not to say that I don't love it and it wasn't what was right for me. So you really have to kind of know yourself and to figure those two things out. And the other part of that is, while I probably could leave my like where I work now at ICC and make more money in the private industry, it's also a nice trade-off to work those clean 40 hours, to know that I can leave to do whatever I need to do at home. So sometimes the benefits really,
Absolutely.
you know, it's not just about what I take home in my paycheck. There are other things that contribute to my salary and to, you know, what I make. So.
Absolutely.